Hi guys, it's Marissa here from Rise High, and today I'm here with Fiona from ALI. One of the things that we do at Rise High is not only try and help you to achieve your goals and dreams, but also try and ensure that you're protecting your assets along the way and ensuring that you're protecting the wealth that you're building up and creating for yourself. So I've invited Fiona here just to have a bit of a chat with me about the importance of asset protection through insurance, and just go through a few of the reasons why we feel that it's really important that everyone considers how they protect themselves and their family. Thanks for joining me, Fiona.
Thanks for having me.
So just quickly, why do you think it's important for people to consider insurance options when they are taking out debt in terms of buying properties?
I think one of the biggest issues we have in Australia when it comes to risk protection and insurance is that most of us are under this misconception that the cover that we've got within our super is adequate. I know that before I was in the industry, I was under that misconception. I always saw my super statement come once or twice a year, saw that there was some sort of insurance there and thought, oh, well, that's great. I've got something if something happens to me. But what I've since learned since being within the industry is that typically the cover people have within their super is some death cover, usually not enough. Certainly on average it's a lot less than the average loan size, so if something was to happen, people couldn't even pay out a debt. And then usually that's also got some TPD cover attached to that, so that means total and permanent disability. So that default cover that typically most of us have will protect us, will protect our family for some cover if we die or if become permanently disabled. But if something was to happen, like a diagnosis of cancer or stroke or a heart attack, which are things that we all hear about all the time within, amongst our friends and family and community, if any of those events were to happen, that cover with your super is unlikely to be adequate to give you any sort of support.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those things that people don't think they need it, and they don't think it's going to happen to them. And I think that, I probably fell in that category previously where I thought, I'm invincible and nothing's ever going to happen to me. I'm, quite fit and healthy. But then, one of the sad things about what we do is that we have seen that clients have experienced these really unforeseen periods of trauma in their life, where we've had, one of our clients, a young 28-year-old female, passed away from bowel cancer, a very aggressive bowel cancer that was within a few months of diagnosis, she had passed away, and she was an investor and built, and that was a really sad experience. And then we've recently had another client who, in his early 50s has been diagnosed with cancer as well, which is a terminal cancer. So, whilst it's really hard to talk about these things, the reality is it does actually happen.
Absolutely.
And, it happens when we least expect it. And I guess the thing that, through those really horrible times, knowing that these clients have actually been protected is a little bit of a silver lining, in the sense that their families are able to take time off of work to be with them, or these, they're able to get some payout to help them with medical bills or medical expenses, or to help them live some bucket list dreams that they want to live in those instances.
It's as simple as well that it allows them to stay in their house.
Well, that's true, because it's hard enough for a family going through a situation where they're losing a loved one, or potentially a loved one is not able to work again, or something is threatening their life. But then to be kicked out of your family home because you can't afford to keep the mortgage repayments, that's just devastating. So, for me, that's why it's so important.
Absolutely. And you touched on the fact that, we all think it's not going to happen to us, but I think something that puts some really good context around that is we all see on social media these days GoFundMe pages, where there's so many stories out there of families that need to rely on funds to be raised within their friends, family and community to get by when something's happened. So as I said, we all think it's not going to happen to us, but we can see
it happens every day.
Or you only have to watch, current affairs shows on TV where a family's fighting the super fund to get access under hardship for funds just to stay in their house because they didn't have any other cover. And I think the best case scenario is that that people do at some stage in their financial journey, sit down with a financial advisor. Unfortunately, though, a really small percentage of Australians do get around to that and go through that more complex process. And that's why it's fantastic that at Rise High, when your clients are going through the lending process, that you guys give them the opportunity to have some protection that just takes it to that next level beyond just relying on that cover within super, and bridges that gap until the time in their life when they are ready to go through full advice and actually sit down and go through that process with an
Absolutely.
advisor.
And I think, you know, the peace of mind for us when we're going through that process with our clients is that, you know, as long as they, if they do sort of consider taking out some loan protection insurance, which really is quite affordable, it means that if something was to happen, something unexpected that obviously was quite traumatic in their life, that they would still be able to stay in their home.
Absolutely.
Or they wouldn't have that financial pressure or that financial stress at the same time that they're having to deal with a much larger emotional stress and a much larger family stress, you know, in a difficult time in their life. So I think, you know, we're firm believers that it's really important. So look, hopefully today's given you a little bit of insight into why we believe it's important that you protect yourself, your family and your assets through some level of insurance, and why we look to help you with that protection when you come and meet with us and when you become a Rise High client. Thanks, Fiona, for sharing some tips with us today and some of your experience. And yeah, we'll see you guys again soon. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.
Thank you.